Morning, gardeners and homesteaders and everybody else on this beautiful planet. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And it is almost the first day of winter, and I like to do a little tour of the garden, see what's going on the beginning of each season. So we're going to do that today. And I got my basket because it's time to do a little bit of harvesting. So let's see what we can get out of this garden and just kind of see the status of everything as it is, because as it gets colder and we're just about to get into a couple day cold snap. I'm really cold right now. It's like 45 degrees. It's supposed to be in the 20s at night. Last night was 31, and then we'll be in the mid 20s for the next 2 nights. So we'll see how it goes. But I just want to give you an update and see what's going on, and explain to you a couple things that did go wrong so far in the garden that I haven't talked about previously. All right, so I don't want anybody to wait any longer for this one. We're going to talk about these Brussels sprouts here. And let me just go ahead and just say, check these billy goats out. Man, we are so close. So close. Look at that. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. If you're new to the channel, real quick, it's been a 5-year journey for me to get Brussels sprouts. This is my 4th or 5th year trying to grow them. I can't remember now. Time's starting to get a little muddled in my head. But we are definitely on our way to getting the most, if we get any Brussels sprouts of any size. As of right now, this is the best harvest we're going to have, and that's one plant out of the whole bunch. And what we're hoping to do is, as we cut the plants, the other ones will catch up, and we'll be able to have a perpetual harvest over a period of time for some plants. So it should be good. So I'm really excited about that. But let's look at this bed here, and we're just going to kind of go around and talk a little bit about each one of them. So as soon as we stop getting a lot of rain, which hopefully will be soon, we're going to fill this bed out completely, go ahead and level it off. But this bed's doing great. This bok choy, all the bok choy is really doing a lot better than I thought it would in the cold weather. I'm not sure if it's going to make it, but we're going to just do what we can with it and let it roll. The kale is just about to turn the corner. It's really starting to grow now, so we're going to be fertilizing it a little bit more soon once we get past this cold snap. Here, this is the broccoli bed that is basically the sob story of the year. And we do, however, have a head of broccoli, and I believe this is about as big as it's going to get. So I'm going to go ahead and just have this one for lunch. My son's off school today, and we're just going to enjoy it. And we'll take the rest of this plant with us, and we will feed that to the chickens. We'll come back and get that. And I'm just going to come back out and just kind of clear the rest of this bed out and put it to bed. You don't know what I'm referring to when I say put it to bed. What I'm saying is I'm basically going to let that bed rest until February 15th. That's going to be probably when I plant in that bed again. And it just gives it time to recover. We'll feed the soil, rebuild it a little bit, put some hot chicken manure in it, let it age in the bed, and it should work out just fine. So that was one of the big goals for the year, is to start letting some of these beds rest more and more. And if we get just a portion of what we wanted to go, then we're going in the right direction. So this bed will be going to bed, going night-night, here probably this week, just before Christmas. We'll put it in. The cabbage bed is doing very well too. We have had very little pest pressure. We do have a little bit, as you can see, but we are on our way to getting some cabbages, and as of right now, it's just a waiting game. So we're just going to let them sit and just kind of grow, do their thing. I'm probably going to remove this runt that's clearly getting shaded out. So we'll take that out, and hopefully we can get this bed mostly harvested by the middle of January, hopefully, and then we can start putting this one to bed as well. So we're just kind of working through that process. No big secrets or anything here. Cabbage is just really hardy, and it thrives in this, and this will probably be the first one we harvest, and the head is starting to form in it, so that is good. We come over here. This is the lettuce bed, and we're going to actually cover this one up for the next 3 days. We're just going to let it do its thing, weather the impending cold, and then hopefully keep this going a little bit longer. I'm probably got about another maybe a month of this growing, and then we'll just let it sit as well. And this is where the potatoes will go. So we'll get everything out of the bed, let it sit, and then when we put the potatoes in, we can go ahead and just plant it and get it going. But we're going to cover it here in a little bit. I got to dump all this water out, which is not going to be fun, and then just let it kind of soak up the heat throughout the day. And I'm going to put a temperature sensor in here so we can see what the temperature gets in here based off of, we know that this greenhouse here on these cold days will get between roughly, probably in these cold windy days, because the wind will blow the heat off of it, that is a thing, it'll probably get to be about, I'd say 60 to 70 degrees in there. So we're gonna lock this bed up tight, put the sensor hanging on that middle run, and then we're gonna do a test and see what the temperature is in it. And then we'll also, once we're done with that one, because I only have one sensor and I'm not buying another one for it, then when we get another cold snap, we'll do this bed over here, which gets more sun, just to see what happens. If you guys are harvesting anything out of your gardens, let us know in the comments below. Or if you're getting ready to plant something, let us know what seeds you're starting now, because it is getting to be that time of year. I had my bee mentor come over yesterday, and I gave him a lot of vegetables, a lot of greens. I'm trying to clear this bed out. And today we're gonna go ahead and just get the rest of this bok choy out. And what that's gonna do is two things. One, obviously give us something to eat. Doesn't matter how big it is, we're taking all of it. We're gonna plant another row of onions here. So we'll just come through and snip and snip. So now that all that'll be gone, you can look and see how the onions are doing. And it happened again, which is okay. I kind of expected it this year. We had a little bit of shading going on from the bok choy, but we've got plenty of seedlings that we'll go look at here in a few minutes, and then we'll be able to plant out another, we'll fill in the gaps in this front row here, and then we'll do another double row here. And then as far as these radishes go, honestly, I'm not really concerned about them. I may just end up chopping them and dropping them right in there and planting my last row of onions right there. So we'll do this row first. We'll probably wait a week, and then we'll do this row again. And that's just to kind of let things settle, watch the weather, because if it's really cold, I don't want to disturb the onions and put them in, the seedlings, and then just kind of cause an issue. So we're not really going to do that. And I'll take you over here right now, and we can look at the onions, and they're doing pretty good. I mean, they're sitting out here. They've been unprotected through 20s and 30s, and I mean, they hold strong. These are all the onions here. Now these are the ones that I typically set out to sell that are like this, and we'll be posting those soon. So if you're watching this and you want some onions and you're in my local area, feel free to send me a message on Instagram or anywhere, or look on Facebook Marketplace and help support the channel. That'd be great. But then these are the ones that I just kind of jammed in some pots for myself. And if I do need more, I've got more, but there's plenty here, and we should be able to keep them going. Like I said, they handle the cold just fine, but I don't really want to disturb the roots when it's going to be real cold. So we'll just kind of give them a little bit of a break. So this garden over here, this is the wild garden. And the deal with the wild garden is it's just kind of meant to let grow, not really maintain like the big garden over here, which I guess I should come up with a name for the main garden, but I haven't done that. So we're gonna look at this and just kind of see what's going on. And I got a couple plans that I'm gonna do. Front bed here, we've just deeply mulched the front, just gonna let it rest. We put some more radishes in the middle, and I'm not really worried about harvesting them. I just want them to work the soil a little bit. And this back row, along with the big row in the middle over there, is all daikon radishes. And I've been getting a couple daikon radishes out of here. But I think what I'm gonna do is, I gotta look and see what our meal plan is. But if I've got a radish here that's pretty good size, I may pull that radish out. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna chop the greens and let the radish rot inside the garden for the year. That'll do is as that radish tilled down into the ground, it'll stay there. But as it starts to decompose, it will release all those nutrients back into that garden. It'll help with the soil compaction. And we do have some collards here, and just like every year, we're running close because I planted them late. But we need collards for our New Year's dinner. So we've got a couple collard plants back here, and they're doing pretty good. They're not really to size yet, but we can still, we've harvested a little bit off of them. but we want to make sure that they get the most sunlight they can. So chopping those daikon radishes down will really help with that. Over here, we've got a row of carrots in the middle. Let's see if you can see. Yep. And then we've got 2 mustard plants. We're just going to kind of let this do its thing for a while. Again, I'm not overly concerned about the carrots because I'll plant another round of carrots coming probably February-ish or March. I'll direct sow them out here somewhere in the garden. I got to look at my plan, or I've got to get my plan together. But until then, we're just going to kind of let things grow. We've got a couple rows up here, and these are the ones that I kind of want to let grow a little bit more. I'll take you over here and try not to step in this puddle of water. And this is where the spinach that we kind of struggled to get going was. And then we've got carrots. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just cover it again. And it's filled up bad with water. So we're going to cover this down. I got to get some weights and weight it down. And what we're going to do is just let this heat up. Let this soil constantly heat up and really get these plants a little bit more action going on. So that works out pretty good. It shouldn't be much of an issue. I don't know how much of the spinach has made it through because it's been kind of cold and wet and dark lately. But once we get that covered back up and we get that heat generating in there, it will help it go even more. And this is another one that we will test the temperature out on eventually once we get done with the other one. My curiosity just got the best of me. I mean, what can I say? I gotta know. And I feel like you deserve to know how much of a difference in temperature it makes, even at night or during the day in the warm-up process. So we'll see. These cabbages here on the side of the greenhouse, they kind of got neglected for a while, but they're coming along now. So we're just going to let those keep growing. We've got these radishes here, and these are my world record radishes. And when I say world record, I'm just referring to my world, nobody else's world. But we're going to go ahead and harvest these. These are the biggest radishes I've ever grown, by the way. I mean, look at that. Perfect. Picture perfect radish. So we're just going to go ahead and get all the big ones out of here and let everything else go to bed. And we'll leave a couple, but I'm ready for some radishes tonight. And we'll leave a couple out here. Look at this guy. Oh, fallen soldier. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Man, that's beautiful. So let's see. One more right here. And we'll take it. Not a bad little harvest. Using those as a side dish, that's probably 3, maybe 4 side dishes. You know, if we're gonna make a main meal out of it, it'd be 1. But that's how we can kind of stretch these smaller winter harvests a little bit longer, is just by using them appropriately. Now for the unfortunate news. My rutabaga bed, and it's growing rutabagas. It's not a problem. But what happened was I did this injection this year, the fertilizer injector, and it got too much fertilizer. So you can see our rutabagas grew long up to here, and then I stopped. I figured it out and cut off the water completely, and you can see they've widened back out. Now we do have a tradition in my family where we eat rutabagas for Christmas. So we're gonna go ahead and take this one. It's not much, but it is what it is. This is a purple top rutabaga, so we'll take this one and just enjoy it. You know, it's just a tradition that we have. Come from Norwegian heritage, and rutabagas are really big. So we try to eat those in the winter, right around Christmas every year, for Christmas dinner to be exact. We try to have a rutabaga, so may not be big, but the tradition carries on. What's going on in this greenhouse? So I know it's going to be warm in here, which I am thankful for. And the greenhouse is booming. We got it going on. So we came out here yesterday and harvested some of the mustards. I gave that away. And then it is time to kind of clear out some of the spinach. So we're going to do that real quick. And I'll explain to you why I'm kind of staying on top of it and harvesting more than I normally would. So maybe a couple months ago, we came out here and we had some skips going on in here, which is basically another term for, you know, some plants that didn't germinate or whatever. So we wanted to replant. And when we did, you know, we plant our spinach pretty close. So what we want to do is we want to clear out and harvest some of it so that the new spinach can get all the sunlight it gets, because this is the coldest and darkest time of the year for us. Not really necessarily the coldest, but it's definitely the darkest. So we're just at the winter solstice right now. And once that turns the corner a couple weeks later, you'll see this greenhouse will explode in growth. This is what the MO has been over the past couple years. So we're just trying to stay on top of it. Typically what I would do is I would let this get a little bit more so I wouldn't have to harvest every single plant. But right now we want to help everything on as much as possible. So we're just staying on top of it and harvesting pretty regularly. And this isn't really enough to cook, but we use it for smoothies and salads and stuff like that. So we just kind of stay on top of it. But let me see how much I can get out of here and I'll show you what the end result is. This time of year, you really got to manage your expectations between what's going to make it and what's not, and prioritize. And so I'm prioritizing the harvest in the greenhouse as much as possible. But this is what we've harvested today from our garden. So I did come back and I got this bok choy too. It's just too pretty to let stand behind. And I cleaned out some of the lettuces. So we've got, I think, 7 mini heads of lettuce and then a couple large leaves of romaine. And then we've got our spinach that we did. So we've got that. We've got our radishes and rutabaga. And then I got a couple leaves of the mustard. The mustard is just to add some spice to what we're doing, so what we're cooking. So it should work out pretty good if you ask me. As far as the rest of the homestead's going, the bees are doing well. I just had to take a frame of bee eggs from the blue hive and give it to the orange hive, so hopefully that will kind of get them a little bit stronger. I'll get more into that as we get into warmer days and I can get back into the beehives. And the chickens are just holding strong, baby. They ain't really doing nothing. They're not laying eggs. They're just basically mooching off of us, which is cool. Because once we turn the corner in the winter, then we're going to start getting more eggs.
Good